Good morning, guys. Welcome. Anon, Nick, what's up, my boy? How you doing? How are you doing? Sorry, just turning that down. Hope we all had a good weekend. Balas, good morning. Sandy, good morning. Welcome. Just gonna wait a couple of minutes, see if anyone else comes in, and we can get into the zones that are marked out in the charts and all that, guys. Today's a yen bank holiday. Luke, welcome. I'm doing great, thank you, Luke. How was your weekend? Great, thanks, Nick. Very chill, to be honest. Didn't get up to anything too exciting. What did I do? I think the most exciting thing I did was go out for sushi. That's about it. And yours? Yeah, guys, today is a yen bank holiday, so obviously there's probably going to be a likelihood of GJ being a little bit slow, maybe more so this morning than later on, but just something to keep in mind. I'm definitely more attracted to gold. For the members, you guys watched that gold breakdown video, or the full weekend breakdown video which I posted last night, and things, I have to say, are looking amazing for those sells which I was talking about based on the daily time frame. If we do come down and break this daily candle low, I think there's some amazing opportunity to see us basically retest this low which we created and possibly even create a new low. So that's definitely going to be something I'm looking at. Sorry, just sorting something out here. My OBS is giving me a few problems. So that's definitely something that's on the cards. Obviously, what I want to see on the lower time frames is us continue to form these lower highs and lower lows. So as you can see, we are more or less doing that at the moment. We have created a high low, but in general, we are creating these low lows. It's not so much the lows I'm worried about, it's more the highs that I'm worried about. So if we do start creating some higher highs, then I think we obviously do start seeing the potential to start coming up a little bit. But if we create these lower highs and then also followed by the low lows, that's just added confirmation. Got some nice clean range to the left here. Of course, we do have this rejection wick, which on the 15 is a support level. So definitely something to worry about. But what I'm anticipating is that if we are going to trade a time of volume, so if it's going to be London Open or New York Open, I'm not going to be able to trade New York Open today. But if it's London Open, then I definitely will try and catch a move. What I may do as well is, because I'm not able to trade New York Open, I may just have some sell stops set below this level and then base my stop loss on how the candles are looking at the moment. Obviously just got a low risk in those situations and set partial stop losses as well, so my risk can be managed, or my trade can be managed. But let's do a full breakdown let's start with gold, because I don't think that GJ, actually no, let's start with GJ because obviously we have market open coming up just now. Rourke, what's up, my bro? How you doing? Let's just do a full breakdown. Again, guys, bank holiday today, so things could get a little bit slow. Members, you guys already have seen this or what I'm going to talk about here. I'm not going to go too in depth, but basically what I'm seeing on GJs, we're coming up to a monthly resistance level. We've been up here a few times. We've been stuck in this monthly range for a whole year now, since May last year or even March last year. That's when we established the range. You'll look on the weekly and you'll see where we started establishing these resistance levels and these support levels. We have not been able to break out of these levels for a whole year. So now that we are starting to come up and possibly pop above these levels, what we'll need to see on the higher time frames is a candle close above those levels. That's going to indicate to us that, okay, now we aren't respecting this range anymore, and then we can start moving bullish or bearish. In this case, it looks like we could carry on bullish. What we do need to obviously take into consideration is that we have now closed on weekly resistance, and this is an extremely strong weekly resistance. This is the strongest weekly resistance of recent time. You can see that we're respecting resistance levels over and over, so that's how we establish a range, when we respect resistance and respect support. So we're respecting these resistance levels all the time whenever we come up to this level. And exactly what happens, again, I spoke about this on the members video, is we then have a bearish week. Sometimes we'll pop above the level and then we'll just come straight back into the range. And then what can happen is these are where we find our lower time frame structural flips. So our lower time frames always flip bearish before our higher time frame. So what we'll see is 30-minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, and then the daily is not going to flip bearish anytime soon, but our weekly, obviously we base on the current weekly. So then once we start getting those probabilities of seeing the bearish market structure, that's going to be a great opportunity to start hopping into some sells as we start coming down. That's if we do form higher time frame resistance. So what I want to see is a daily resistance at this level, because what that's going to indicate to us is that, again, based on the range that we're trapped in, you can see if we form resistance at this level, there's a good chance that we're going to start coming down and creating some of this moves. We've done it 4 or 5 times before, so it makes a lot of sense to me. Sorry, this candle obviously just isn't reading right, but you can see the correct close for this candle is where this candle opened. So you can see that is directly on a daily resistance level. So there's a very good chance that if we do start coming down, it can maybe come down to 155.849, and then even further if we do create that resistance and start getting below this daily support level over here. That's gonna be big, because obviously now we need to start shifting our zones. So for our, by the way guys, our market structure on GJ is completely bullish, there's no doubt about that. I'll check the 30, I haven't really looked at it this morning, we may have flipped that bearish, but obviously we're going to need to adjust our zones. And again, what I'll be looking for is, I think, possible very safe sells into this zone. You can see we have clean candles to the left here, that's below that daily support level. So it's just going to be a bunch of confluences adding up. We'll also have some low time frame market structure flips. So on the 1 hour, our market structure flips at this point because that's the point which created this high. And on the 30 minutes, our market structure flips at this point over here. And this is where I had to talk about those very aggressive earlier on sells, because below this level, we're obviously going to have our market structural flip. And then we're also going to have the clean candles to the left. So that's going to be those early sells. Those very aggressive sells as well, members, which I spoke about on the stream, sorry, not on the stream, on the Sunday breakdown, which I said I wasn't going to be interested in at all, played out perfectly. You can see how it came down to the support level, and then we started forming that lower high, which I have been talking about. But I said that the only place that I would start looking for sells is probably going to be below this level into this clean range, based on the fact that we are on higher time frame resistance. So what I'm looking for at the moment is potential sells. Let me just type this in. Below 156.730, and then potential buys $157.193. So those are my 2 current zones which I'm looking at, and then I think potentially we could come down all the way down to 156.300. And if we're going to go up, I spoke about this as well, we have a massive rejection wick to the left here, so we're going to need a lot of volume to break through that. But then you look at the clean candles which we have to the left, so I mean potential to come all the way up to 157.600. That's what I'll be looking for. Just got to be careful of that rejection wick. Obviously that's not ideal. And then yeah, I can take this zone out. So these are going to be early aggressive sells based on the fact that we are on that higher time frame resistance, respecting that higher time frame range. We didn't close above that range on the weekly time frame or the daily time frame. So to me, if price does start coming down and we start flipping some structure, obviously the first structure that we are always going to flip, that's a key structure to us, is 30 minute. And that's going to flip at this point over here, which we've marked out. So yeah, interesting times. Interesting times. You can check my charts when you got a minute. Let me check that out for you quickly now. This is your gold chart. You have potential buys above 1930. That's fine. Clean candles to the left. You have potential sells below 1921.84. I think that's exactly what I'm looking. Oh no, I have 1918. You have an earlier zone marked in. That's fine as well. I'm looking for the, I don't really want to try push it too much, so I think that we might push straight through that support level. I think the much better sells are going to come below 1918, but that is a valid trading zone. And then you got more potential sells with bigger range below 1918.84. That's perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for, the sells below that level, because obviously this is it's still a 26 pip range, so that's fine, more than enough range to trade into. But we don't want to try squeeze a move out of this range when we have 50 pips below 1918.84. That's also going to be a higher confirmation trade, because that's going to be where I was talking about that daily candle breaking the previous daily candle low. I don't know if you did watch that Sunday video last night, Rock, but I spoke about that a lot, because yeah, that's something that I've seen a lot and I'm quite interested in getting involved in if it does play out. So yeah, nice gold chart, and then your GJ chart is, you're gonna have to zoom out a bit here. I can't really see much. You have risky sells below 156.791, 30-minute flipping bearish. That is the zone where 30 does flip bearish, and then buys above this level, weekly resistance. That's fine as well. But if you just maybe zoom out a little bit more on that chart, I can't really see, you know, past price action. But obviously, I've just broken it down, so you can just go by this if you want. Let me just type in what I'm looking for on gold here. Got a bit burnt this weekend, guys, so I actually have a massive headache right now. Big week. Ain't on. Every week's a big week for you, my boy. Gold buys above 1925 too risky, or how come you didn't make it? Because there's clear candles to the left. Check that out. 1925. Well, we haven't really formed 30-minute resistance. So we formed 15-minute resistance, and then you can see we just rejected this area right here. So we had that 15-minute resistance. There's no 30-minute resistance. So that's why obviously there are clean candles, but it doesn't interest me. Again, something that I've been talking about on gold is we are forming the lower highs and the lower lows. So when we have that sort of candle set up, then there's a good chance that we're going to see that bearish momentum. A very good example of what happened, I was actually trading with Nick the other day, and we were waiting to get these buys above this 1 hour level. You can see how we broke above this 30 minutes. It was also a 1 hour range, and then price wicked down into this area and broke the high. So that's your typical type B entry. I was very keen for those buys, didn't end up taking them because it took earlier buys, the first impulse move, and then took a second entry, which ended up being a losing trade. But luckily, because my first entry was a really good entry, it made up for that. But then why I started, I looked back on it and thought, you know, why? Because luckily I didn't enter at this level, because it would have been also a losing trade. I thought, you know, why did this not work out? It was a perfect type B entry. And the only thing I could think of was, obviously, we have had very bearish volume, a lot of bearish volume in the market recently. Obviously, if we go look at the daily candles, most of last week was bearish candles. So what we were doing was basically trying to buy in a seller's market, which is, you know, I hate trading like that. And a telltale sign, what I should have looked for is seeing this formation. So you can see we had created that high. This is where we were forming higher highs and higher lows. So that's fine to buy in because you are creating higher highs and higher lows. But then the problem was, once we had started creating these lower lows and lower highs, taking a buy here was very, very risky. And yeah, it showed. Okay, obviously have London open at the moment. Terrible pre-London candle, you can see that was kind of expected, to be honest. I'm not really expecting a strong move on GJ this morning. I was looking more so at gold to try find something. I think that, again, we obviously have a zone below 1921, and if you can see here to the left, we have a nice amount of range. It's about 30 pips of range, but I think trying to, like I said just now, trying to take these sells is going to be a lot more risky than just waiting for price to get below 1918.75. I got caught in that losing trade as well. Yeah, in that case, it's just a matter of trading against the trend rather than market structure, because you can see, like I said, the way that we were creating those highs and lows. Now looking back at it myself, even, I just realized that, you know, buying in this sort of a market was a very, very bad idea. I was more so basing my trade on, I know how gold works by now. I know that when we consolidate for a long time and break out of that consolidation, we're normally going to push quite hard in that direction, which is exactly why I took the impulse buys above this level and actually won. You know, that trade was a winning trade because I took the initial impulse buys and then closed at, I think it was 15 or 16 pips in profit. My second entry was based on the 30-minute time frame break above, I think it was this level, may have even have been on the lower time frames, may have even been this level, based on 15-minute retest, and that was a stupid entry because, yeah, just low probability looking back at it now. But as long as you learn from a losing trade then, and you manage that losing trade, then it's fine. It was also a very big stop loss, which I didn't like. 33 pip stop loss. Alright, let's look at some of the fundamentals coming up throughout the week, guys. Today is obviously bank holiday, like we spoke about. I think it's going to be quite slow today. Tomorrow, very, very low impact news day on any of the pairs that I trade, so I'm not going to be too worried about tomorrow. Wednesday is obviously when things start heating up a little bit. We got some power news coming in. Our good old friend Governor Bailey. This guy doesn't mess around with his talks, and this, you know, I've always enjoyed trading the markets when he decides to have a bit of a chat. Then obviously we got our friend Mr. Powell also speaking as well, and then we got an annual budget release on the pound and CPI as well. So Wednesday is going to be a massive day in terms of the pound. So anyone trading GJ or any pound related pair, just be careful of that. And I think Thursday as well, we had quite a lot of news again. Lots of pound news, medium impact, but still unemployment claims coming in on the dollar. So that's going to be, again, another interesting day. Shouldn't be too hard to trade, you know, we just got to stick to our rules. Doesn't mean as soon as we see high impact fundamentals, we start getting worried or working ourselves up. And then obviously on Friday, we got, again, some more medium impact. This is coming just before London Open, and some USD news later on in the day. Other than that, nothing else to really report. How do you feel about the markets as of late? Not as easy as 2 weeks ago when we were catching these gold buys 24/7, but not terrible. It's been, Friday was a tough day, obviously, just because of that gold situation. But yeah, otherwise it was another good week. I think if you know how to manage your risk, you can get away in any market conditions, to be honest, and if you don't overtrade. Simple as that. Like I spoke about to the members last night, guys, we're coming into the last 10 days of the month. More so I look at this on the last day of the month, the last week of the month, but when you start coming towards the end of the month, you're either going to be sitting in three situations. It's going to be, you know, sitting in a lot of loss, sitting at break even, or sitting in profits. So if you're sitting in a lot of loss coming into towards the last week of the month, all you need to be thinking is 1 to 2 trades a day, and how do I minimize this loss, or how do I get back to break even so I don't end the month as a losing month. If you're sitting at break even, what you need to do is, obviously that means there's a good chance you haven't been managing your risk, or you have been over trading a little bit, and all you need to do then is cut down on the amount of trades you're taking, and you probably will end the month in profits, or just manage your risks a little bit, manage your trades a little bit better. When you're sitting in profits coming into the last week of the month, depending obviously on how much you're in, this is when I always try and maximize my profits. So this is when what I'll do is when my trades start going 10 pips up, 12 pips up, 14, 15 pips up, all I'll do is I'll move my stop loss to break even, and I'll try to let my trades run as long as possible. Because at this stage, you can afford to do so if you're in profits. So that's definitely something to take into consideration. If you guys in chat don't mind sharing how your month has gone so far, then it'll be nice to know, and I can try to give some advice on what you should be looking at doing. Obviously we got 11 people in here, so if one or two could could share in on, maybe you can tell us how your week's going, or your month, not your week. Break-even month. You need to see the receipts for that. No, I'm just kidding, Anon, I believe you. Nick, I think I did a big injury to my back this morning. Gymming. I felt it as well. I had to put the weights down and everything and just went and lay on my bed. I'm quite annoyed because obviously I was like enjoying getting back into it, but now I'm just thinking, you know, what do I do? Because obviously we spoke about injuries. We spoke about injuries on Friday, and obviously you don't want to rush going back into it, but it's annoying if you've just started. And now what, I'm gonna sit around for like a week. So yeah, it's a disaster. It's actually doing curls as well. I just felt like almost, definitely not a slip disc, but like maybe a pulled muscle. Don't know if that's possible to do while doing a bicep curl, but nah, upper back by my shoulder blade. Like it felt like a tear almost. Okay, Alana. Okay. To be fair, I think I did, it was just too heavy. Like trying to go too heavy too soon. Thanks, Antonio. I appreciate that. Luckily, I can still walk, which is great. Because obviously, if it was that bad, I would be very worried. But it just feels like I've had this before. I'm just trying to think when I last did this, and it just takes, yeah, it's gonna take like a week, maybe a bit more. Rather upper back than lower back, yeah. Do you know what it is, Nick? I don't know if you've ever had this, or maybe you can relate to this, but like, let's say I try to stand up as straight as possible, so like standing in a good posture, it's like sore, like really sore, like in my upper back. So I don't know, maybe that it must be a muscle, because that's not normal. Yeah, but if I try to train other muscle groups, I think because it's in my back, it might aggravate it a little bit. Like I don't even know if I'm going to be able to like run or anything like that. Torn muscles are serious. Maybe you need to get that checked. I'm gonna see how it feels in 3 days. If it's bad in 3 days, I'm gonna have to, I don't know. Yeah, that hurts. Back left, so this side. This is like a gym and trading channel, especially the Discord sessions. Just need to reply to a couple messages, guys, as we wait for Gold or GJ to actually do something. Massage and ice it. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. I have one of those back massage things, so maybe I'll put that to use. Sorry guys, not much happening. Standard procedure now. Check the weather for today. This is just so inaccurate. It says today's cloudy. There's literally not a cloud in the sky out here. Can never trust this stuff. Check on our Bitcoin. Got to see where we're going on Bitcoin. Let's see our higher time frames. Yeah, if we get above this monthly level, then there's a good chance we're coming up. If we start coming down below this monthly support level, big trouble. Now I'm not outside, but I have a view outside here. It says towards COVID restrictions, yeah, we still have to wear the masks, which is ridiculous. But to be honest, life's pretty back to normal. Not much that we can't do nowadays. They're slowly starting to allow spectators at sports events again, which is, you know, I think that's one of the most important things. And now I think nightclubs are full capacity, events are full capacity, restaurants are full capacity. It's just these masks which are annoying. It's the stupidest rule here as well, because when you like walk into your table at a restaurant, you have to wear a mask, but then as soon as you sit down, you're allowed to take it off. It's almost like COVID can't get to you when when you're sitting at the table, and then as soon as you stand up, all of a sudden it can get you. So yeah. What about in Jamaica there, Lana? What are your guys' restrictions like? Yo, my back. I don't know why this liquidity provider keeps doing this. This is a more accurate one, guys. I just want to talk to you quickly about the GJ level that we're on so that you guys can see it clearly. If I mark out where this candle closed, you can see exactly where we are right now is obviously this resistance level, and we're sitting on an extremely strong level where we form daily resistance over and over. So if we go to the weekly time frame, you can also see the weekly candle where we closed. Sorry, let me just take all those away. Is obviously sitting on that weekly resistance. We literally closed on the resistance. So if we are going to go up, what I'm possibly expecting to happen is exactly what happened in these sorts of situations where we pop up and it's going to look like, okay, now we're finally breaking out of the range and now we're going to start, you know, pushing out of this range. And then literally what happens is towards the end of the week, we have a very strong bearish push and we start coming down and we form our resistance. That's something which I'm thinking might happen, especially if we break this weekly high, because obviously if we break weekly highs and lows, we expect price to continue in that direction. But normally what happens is this is the perfect example. Here we broke the weekly high, came up about, let's see here, 80 pips. So everyone's thinking, okay, finally we're out of this range, you know, finally we can continue bullish back up to the 160 sort of area, and then all that happens is we flip bearish and come back down, you know, another 100 pips. So definitely something to take into consideration. They just lifted them all. That's why I asked about outside, because I meant other people going out on outings. Yeah, here, I mean, you can do anything here. Everything's open. Businesses are back up and running. Yeah. Even sporting events you can go watch now. It's quite weird though, because we have like university rugby here, which is quite big, and there's, you know, thousands and thousands of people that go to watch that, and the same as school events as well. Our school events are quite big, so I don't know if there's a restriction on that, but there was definitely more than 2,000 people in every varsity cup match or university cup match that I've watched so far. But then I see with the higher levels of rugby, so like the provincial levels, there's a restriction of like 2,000 supporters. So to me that just I don't know, that doesn't make sense, because then the lower levels are allowing more fans. If gold forms support on the 30-minute, would you be interested in about above 1925. No. I'm kind of only interested in buys above 1929. You can see we're rejecting a very clear zone here. We're forming resistance at the support. So now we're going to form this resistance. Hopefully it's a strong resistance. And then I think there's chances that we come create a new low. Then we might do the same thing, form resistance at the support, come back down, get a close below, and then hopefully do the same thing. And then form resistance at the support, and then this is where I'm going to try capitalize on some moves. Possibly earlier, based on this zone. I just want to see how this candle closes. So let's just put in here a support. Because you can see there is clean range to trade into here. All that I worry about is you can see before we created that clean candle, this was an area of consolidation. This is also the... yeah, this is the start of the candles. So yeah, to be honest, I'm not really interested in buys on gold right now until we start seeing some higher lows or higher highs. Just slow market conditions. How far did we move up here? Probably like 9 pips. Just insane how all that Ukraine-Russian news has kind of just died down. The moves we were getting were insane. And now we're back to normal conditions. I want gold to go down, but also want GJ to go down because I think there are going to be some amazing potential sells on GJ this week if we start forming that high time frame resistance. The only problem is gold and GJ normally don't act the same. So if one's going to go down, I feel like the other one is probably going to start heading up. And then I don't like the ideas of buying gold at the moment based on the daily. And last week's weekly. Obviously, based on the weekly, we had a lot of bearish pressure in this weekly candle. Daily is looking good. So if we can form some resistance on the 4 hour, what that's going to indicate to us is that this support level has now turned to resistance. So then we could come down, and that's where we could create that 4 hour low and retest this level, which is that daily low, which I was just talking about. Yeah. I don't know, I just hate it when the markets are... I mean, I can see the potential moves. It actually has some really nice potential moves, but I hate it when the volume is like it is. Dean. No. For our close at 11, so we could see something in the last 30 minutes, definitely. If we, obviously I want to see how this 30-minute candle closes, but if we close as resistance on this 30-minute candle, which is looking pretty likely, unless in the last 2 minutes we just get some buyer's pressure, I think that, yeah, we could start coming down below 1921. Just want to see, yeah, some bigger candles. That would be ideal. I don't like this coming up like that. 15-minute range. You can see how bad those candles are. I think we could mark this is a no trade range. Just for now. Because at the moment, if you can find an entry, let's see how many pips this is. No, that's not a big enough range. If you can find an entry in this range, I'll be very impressed. Do you guys want in the chat, do you guys want the background music or not? It's normally just that chilled music. Or do you prefer it without the music? I haven't actually been using it recently. How often do you market executes versus buy stop, buy or sell stop? I have to say buy or sell stopping is a lot safer on GJ, so I do it more on GJ because obviously the spreads are lower. Because then you're not going to get, let's say, slipped into a move which you aren't like that comfortable with, because obviously because the spread's higher, sometimes it reads prices at, they say your buy stop's at 157.334, and then, or let's just say there for example, and then price comes up to this level because your spread's higher, it triggers it. So that's why I don't like setting buy stops very much on gold, because the spread's a bit higher. On GJ I'm happy with doing that, but I would say on gold I market execute a majority of the time, and on GJ buy or sell stop. Obviously also impulse entries I never buy stop or sell stop, only market execute on impulse entries. Okay, let me put this music on. There's an advert coming up, so let me just mute it. You guys just need to let me know if you can actually hear it, because I messed around with my sound settings not so long ago. Let me know if it's too loud, too soft. I had it on the perfect setting. I don't know what that was though. Can't hear anything. Oh, wait. Should be able to now. But it might be a bit soft. perfect setting. I'm not too sure what it was. I have to go back and look. I feel like this is definitely quite soft. Yeah, turn up a bit. Try that. That might be a bit loud though. Yeah guys, all I'm waiting for at the moment, to be honest, is this gold 4-hour candle. If we can get a nice strong bearish candle, I think that's a very strong indication that, you know, we could start heading down a little bit. I think that, again, on the higher time frames, the sell potential on gold is very, very good. We obviously are looking at the potential of retesting a low created on the daily time frame. This was our low, and then we created a pullback, formed resistance at this previous level of resistance, something I also spoke about on the Sunday breakdown video. And now there's a good chance that now that we've formed a strong resistance, our candle confirmations are also high, respecting candle highs and not respecting candle lows. You can see that with this candle, broke that, respected that. So if we now respect this candle high and break this candle low, very, very nice chance of us coming down. And obviously on the low time frames now we need to correlate. Do we have the clean range on the low time frames? So that's our marked out areas 1918.74. Go look on the 4-hour clean candle. Go look on the 1-hour clean candles. Go look on the 30-minute clean candles. Perfect. So that's why I'll be looking for sells. GJ is doing its normal shithousery for London Open. Try to go back to our last good London Open. Like this was a New York Open, but this was also news, to be fair. What is London Open on that day? Yeah, like look at this candle. It's just ridiculous. Even Asians providing more moves in London at the moment. Oh, Ranko, what's up, my boy? Okay, away. Thanks, Nick. Yo, I'm lekker, bro. How things been going there in Jersey? It's actually, I'll chat you on, I'll give you a call later and we can catch up. Yeah, plate was good, eh? Plate was very good. Definitely need to go there though, Ranko, in December, and then we must get, that'll be a proper time. School's been rough. Make the most of your public holiday. Go get doped, bro. Thought you were doing well now in school, Ranko. But you You'd finally started getting or passing Afrikaans. Yeah. Public holiday today, so I suspected so. Tragic conditions, guys. Yeah, no stress, Ranko. Have a good day. But I'll give you a call later for sure. We can catch up. I don't know, guys. I feel like the time goes a lot faster on the Discord sessions than it does on the YouTube streams, because obviously we're talking on the Discord sessions and like it does open opportunity to ask questions. I know a lot of the time we talk a lot of shit on the Discord calls, but at least it like, I think the worst part about trading is the waiting, and if you can get rid of that waiting by being present, you know, for your hours that you are trading, but at that same time, you know, you make time go by so that you can wait for your candle confirmations and not be dying of boredom, then it's gonna help a lot. That's why I know I have, with the new schedule, it is still more streaming than Discord sessions. It's now 2 Discord sessions and 3 streams a week. I think that, you know, eventually we will move to maybe 3 Discord sessions and 2 streams a week. Because yeah, the Discord sessions are a lot more fun, I think, than the streams. Well, for me anyway. And then what I think I'll start doing on YouTube is posting more post-trade analysis content and, you know, breaking down trades, breaking down situations, maybe some of the entries which I look at taking, maybe post a bit of that. Again, don't want to give away too much on YouTube, because obviously people pay a lot of money for that in the course, so that's, I don't want to do that. But sometimes offering free education is definitely the best way to go about it. It's a bit of a tough situation. Maybe stream for 45 minutes and move to Discord for the 45 minutes. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea at all either. I think if the streams were picking up in numbers and the chat was more lively, it might be better. Like, I don't know if you guys remember last year December, or even this year January, the streams were quite busy and quite full. But I think because obviously I've been quite inconsistent with streaming, numbers are down a little bit, and you know, the chat obviously isn't as active, whereas, you know, that makes things feel a lot slower, and these sessions then seem to take time, whereas in Discord we are always chatting and it makes things go a lot faster. But I do definitely think that that's not a bad idea at all, Nick. I mean, when we were averaging about 20-30 viewers, I think that was, you know, that was really good. For a brand new channel, that was nice. Now, obviously, things have slowed down a bit. But also, I have been, a lot of the time, I have just been doing Discord sessions rather than the YouTube streams. Which is fine, you know, because I actually enjoy the Discord sessions. And YouTube don't pay me a cent. So I actually don't need to do anything for them. Just saw your message now, Nick. Yeah, it hurts if I take like a deep breath as well. So yeah, definitely something's not right. But I don't think it's anything too serious. Just be careful of these gold buys, guys, if you are a little bit tempted maybe at the break of this week. Obviously we do have some clean candles to left. I just think that, you know, it's forcing a trade. There's no need to take a trade in this range. For me, even this is kind of like a no trade range at the moment. So obviously based on the 1 hour, it does look good to come out. But first trade of the week, I'm not going to take something which is aggressive or stupid. I'm just going to wait for price to come into the areas I want it to come into. Looking at the 1 hour now, I do see exactly why this could make a lot of sense. Kind of like a type D on the 1 hour. But I'm just not... at the moment, not going to force it. It's 20 pips worth of range, yeah. Not bad. Shouldn't even be looking at GJ. It shits at the best of times. And now that we have a bank holiday, actually, no, shame. GJ, I'll take that back about GJ. GJ's been good. It's the best. I think it's the best. Other than gold, it is the best pair for sure. Definitely have the biggest ranges. Price moves the most. It's just London session hasn't, for the whole year, hasn't been good. And that's now, we're coming almost 4 months into the year, and things just haven't been great. And I think also we've been treated by gold, you know, having like 100 pip ranges, 200 pip ranges, and like seeing those 80 pip moves in a matter of like 3 minutes. It's hard to compare anything to that, to be honest. So when you look at GJ and it's ranging like this. Still coming up a little bit on gold. I think that... I know we've been live for about an hour now. I don't see much potential on either of these pairs at this present moment. I think gold's probably, based on the 1 hour, going to come up to this resistance level, 1928. That's going to close our 4 hour, probably weak bearish by the looks of it. And then maybe even flip it bullish. But yeah, not too interested in, again, still not interested in those buys until we get above 1929. The reason why I think maybe buys above 1929 could make a lot of sense, especially within the next half an hour, so after this candle closes, is let's say this candle does now push up and decide to close above 1929.87. Our entry level, which would be after we wick down and push up, is also then going to be the break of this 4-hour candle high. And then obviously we got this to trade into on the 4-hour, also clean candles on the lower time frames, like the 30-minute, so, or even the 1 hour. So that's going to make a lot more sense to me anyway. Massive headache right now. Too much time in the sun yesterday. Just thinking, if we do start coming down, so obviously I don't think I'm going to be able to look at the charts much from about, I'd say 1 o'clock. So what I'll do is, based on the daily candle, I'm going to set a sell stop under this daily low, and then in anticipation for price to probably fill some of this daily range this week, basically, which is obviously our clean candles on the lower time frames. So that's all gonna, that sell stop's all gonna be based on at 1 o'clock, or when I last look at the charts, what our daily candle's looking like. If our daily candle's still looking strong bullish, I'm just gonna leave it, because then that's telling me that today obviously there isn't that many sellers in the market. Well, by the time that I looked at it, and I can only base it on what I'm seeing. So if I'm seeing a lot of buyers in the market, there's no way I'm gonna set a sell stop and, you know, not be able to fully manage it the way I would like to manage it. Obviously, if it is quite weak bullish or started to flip bearish, I'll still have my partial stop loss level, so I'll still have that trade getting managed based on, I've talked about it all the time using magic keys. But yeah, I think that will be sell stop below this 1918. To play it safe, I'll probably set it at around 1917, somewhere in the 1917s. Because that just gives it a little bit of room. So that I don't just get triggered in if we just push down a little bit. It's just, we got another 9 minutes. To be honest, guys, I don't see the potential of much happening in this half an hour candle. Yeah, okay, no, let me just wait. Let me wait until this candle closes. And then I'll give you a quick idea of what I'm looking for, exactly what I'm looking for, and then we can all head off. And enjoy the rest of our days. Sorry, the rest of our day. GJ coming down a little bit. Like I said, my only concern is because I obviously want to see sells on both pairs, because I think obviously we had such a strong resistance level on GJ that it makes sense that we are going to start coming down. And on gold, I like the if we just look here based on the 30-minute time frame, you can see obviously we've been coming down a lot recently. Obviously we had this little counter trend sort of push, and then we just continued with those lower highs and low lows, and that's basically what we're doing at the moment. So I would say that gold is also looking quite good for sells, but I don't see realistically how both of them would do that, just based on how we see these two pairs negatively correlate between each other. We know that when GJ is going up, a lot of the time gold's going down. If you just look at last week, and then we look at last week, you know, one's going up, one's going down. So they're both going to start coming down. It's going to be a bit of a interesting situation. Yeah, even GJ on the 4 hour looks good. Respecting this candle high, broken candle lows. Just need volume, and obviously with the bank holiday, that is not going to be in abundance today, most likely. We could get something at New York open, some volume, should I say. Nice rejection there on gold. Gonna go put ice on my back straight away, Nick. This thing's killing me. Do you think that that Onica ice stuff will help? Because I've actually had that. Like, I can only speak highly of that stuff. When I used to play rugby, I used to put that stuff on all the time. Do you think it would help with the muscle thing though? Is that mainly for bruising? The GJ cells being against the structure, is that a concern? So it's going to be 3v1, but remember, we can't only look at structure. What we also need to look at is the levels that we're at. So obviously on the weekly we're sitting on a resistance level, on the daily we're sitting on a resistance level, on the 4 hour we're sitting in these rejection wicks. So there's a good chance we're going to start coming down. Then you start looking at 4 hour candle formations, respecting highs, not respecting lows. So that's what's adding up to the cells making sense. Then obviously we have the clean candles to the left on the lower time frames. So of course it is going to be counter trade based on market structure, but then we obviously need to take into consideration other factors. And what we want to see obviously is, if we are going to be taking something which is slightly counter trend, we want to see the exact candle setup we like to see, which is going to be that candle close and then a wick up and then break of that candle close low. Because we don't want to be taking counter trend impulses. That's a recipe for disaster. So just be aware of that. It's okay, we're going to crush this week. I see a lot of moves happening this week. Exactly, Antonio. I like that positivity. The stuff's going to use it. I'm definitely going to... If I have some in the house, I'm going to use it. Otherwise, I'm going to go buy some. Because that stuff... I remember it used to have like a massive bruise. And you would put that stuff on the next at night. The next morning, that thing was feeling good as gold. It was proper. Apparently, they use it on horses, though. I think that's why it's so good. Because they always have problems with their muscles. About 3 minutes until this candle closes. Let's see what we're looking at here. Forming some 15-minute resistance on this support level. Yeah, let's just wait, guys. Let's just wait. Also, please remember, guys, tomorrow is going to be a Discord session, members only. I'm going to get that Discord sorted out. I'm just trying to think. I have quite a busy afternoon today. It's also a public holiday here in South Africa, so a few things happening. I will be... I think I'll be able to do it this evening, if I'm home in time. But yeah, there definitely will be a Discord call tomorrow morning without a doubt for the members, and then on Wednesday that's when we go back to our normal streams, and then Thursday streams as well, on Fridays back to members. What are the roles on Discord? Don't worry, Nick, I'll sort that out for you. You have access to the calls as well. You'll see it. It's just so that the channels are private, so that, you know, if you are part of the membership, then you will have access to be able to do the Discord calls. They have recently been open Discord calls, and I think, you know, for the people paying, that's not really fair, because then, well, at the end of the day, they're not getting that bonus which they're paying for. So I'll get that all updated and sorted. Interesting close on GJ. Not really the close we want. No bottom wick, and we closed on support. So quick breakdown of what I'm looking for, guys. Mainly sells on gold. If we are going to continue bullish, you can see we did form some, not 30-minute support, but we formed some 50-minute resistance. But we are shifting up on gold. We're stuck in this range. For me, no trade range. Don't try to get involved in gold at the moment. Wait for a clean break of 1929.87 or a clean break below 1921, preferably 1918. I think that's going to be a much higher probability setup than under 1921. But if you want to catch those early moves, try this level at 1921. Just wait for the candle close. If we are going to be looking at GJ, again, guys, we're on such a strong level, which we've respected multiple times, you know, weekly level, daily level. It makes sense to me that GJ is going to start coming down. Again, what we might get, like we had previously, is a strong push up, you know, could go up 50, 60 pips. Then we form some resistance, and then we start coming down, and then our week will still close bearish, technically still respecting that resistance level, because obviously then towards the end of the week we'll start getting those bearish pushes. So just be careful of buying GJ at the moment. Obviously we have bullish market structure, but based on the levels we're at, you know, all you have to do is look at how we trade. How did price move historically in certain price areas and candle formations, obviously, and you can see price at this level before has not reacted very well. So we've come straight down from it 4 times before. So just be careful with that. Other than that, I hope that you guys have an amazing day. Go enjoy the rest of your day. If you are trading GJ, just be aware that it is a yen bank holiday. So maybe try stick to gold if you do trade gold. Otherwise, just take a rest from the charts today, take a holiday with the banks, and come back tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not going to be trading New York today, guys, but if we do have candles set up that I like on gold, I'm going to set a sell stop below 1918 level. So yeah, I appreciate all the support, guys. Thank you everyone who stuck by and watched the stream today. Please do remember to leave a like on the stream before you guys go. It does help out a lot, and I'll see you all tomorrow for the Discord call. Well, the members tomorrow for the Discord call, yeah. And yeah, cheers guys, thank you, have a great day.